It's another beautiful day here in Talladega, Alabama, as we are now getting ready to set another car to the track and set another hot spring racing day here in Talladega. The Legacy ARCA cars are now on full display here with Ruff-Neck Racing and the James Wagner's Welding Superspeedway Series live here on Speed Zone TV. Hi, everyone. I am Christian Shriver, the dead man with a hot mic in hand, ready to bring it to you down on the track with some hard racing action set to the pace. So let's start them on the pole. Car number 44 is Mike Presley on the outside, and it will be the 35 of Larry Eddy. Row number 2 is the 28 of Barry Tolson on the outside, and the 6 is Patrick Ginter. Row number 3 will be the 30 of James Wagner on the outside, and the 77 is Adam Sprinkle. Row number 4 and the 58 is Johnny Hurst, and the outside is the 24 of Nicholas Don Francesco. Row 5 is the 2 of Tim Richardson. The outside, the 01 is Jeffrey Ledford. Row number 6 and the 13 is Chris Ramsey. Outside that 21, it is Alex Foster. Row number 7 and the 33 is Ben Parson. The outside of that 25 is Charles Minter. Row number 8 and the 66 is Chris Phillips. The outside of the 99, Tim Taylor. Row number 9 and the 69, Brian Lashbrook. Is outside. There will be the 93 of Christopher Barker. Row number 10 and the 5 is Shane Wilden Sr. on the outside. And the 98 is Eric Coppathorne. Row 11, our final seeds, is the 16 of Mike Straminsky on the outside. And the number 84, Chad Hawkins. That will be your starting lineup here for your James Wagner's Welding Super Speedway Series, presented in part by our friends over at James Wagner's Welding, Ipswich Bay Soap Company, and Precision Fence and Gates. The car scream to life and bring to the track. Now we send it on down to the speedway. All drivers preparing for this 50-lap shootout here. And race fans, this is going to be a doozy here because, again, we're talking a long, long road here up again for these drivers. A lot of drivers going to have to deal with the consequences of speed and precision while at the same time trying to muscle their way down to the track and trying to hold on for every little grasp of speed they can. The one thing I guarantee you, though, a lot of these drivers are going to be looking very, very carefully at as the race progresses on is the overall control that is needed to hang on with these things because, again, the one wrong bump in the back, these cars have a very bad tendency to give you the feeling of pretty much turning into a dragster and having no front steering to boot with it. So in this case here, look for the drivers to be trying to play it smart, trying to play it safe, while the rest, as they say, just go all out looking to get themselves to victory lane. Field getting themselves ready to roll, psyching themselves up and ready for this banger of a race about to come. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup number 44 of Mike Presley will lead us down. Larry Eddy up on his outside looking to try and rekindle some speed and some momentum. You got a bunch of heavy hitters there as well. Barry Tolson, Patrick Ginter, and James Wagner, and Adam Sprinkle. All drivers easily can put it back into the top 3, if not into victory lane in this case. But one must falter. The rest, as they say, must try and conquer. But here in Talladega, let's just say Talladega does not play too nice to anybody who dares try to fight her too much. Off turn 4 down that front straightaway here to our Precision Fence and Gates starting zone. It's time to get down in business with the 50 laps to the race season here at the Super Speedway Series of James Wagner's Welding. Very high sun reflections basing off on the cars here. I am wondering how much of that sun may be creeping into the eyes of the drivers here. Again, with the way iRacing works, that sun actually can get onto your screen and actually kind of blind you in some ways. And that definitely makes it much harder as a driver and trying to tempo your pace and figure out where you're going in certain areas here. Already out of the gate here, you can see again just how many drivers are trying not to get too close to that back bumper, trying to get enough draft line off, and trying to get themselves squared up into the field here. Now, I will say this. It's not like they can't get a bump draft in these things. It's just the problem is if you do bump draft, number one, you better be on the flattest of grounds, and you also better make sure that you only hit so much on that back corner panel. Otherwise, one wrong bump, and it will get that entire car completely loose and out of shape. As you can see, again, this car is very hard to handle and master when it once it gets out of shape, and they're already facing some of that struggle here. Though I will say, when I got on iRacing, this wasn't the legacy ARCA car. This was literally the ARCA car they had for the longest time. And still, in my opinion, a very beautiful looking car. And funny enough, too, this is the only car that I've actually ever been able to win here at Talladega Superspeedway. This is the only track, this is the one track that haunted me for so long. And then just 1 week, we raced these things on the iRacing Official Series, and I managed to actually nail down 3 wins. Don't ask me how, I'm still trying to figure that out to this day. And I haven't won here since. Field continuing to march their way on all around at the moment. No one giving too much up, but at the same time, not a whole lot of drivers wanting to push the limits to the absolute fullest here. Pushed up on the outside, Patrick Genter moved up on the top. The number 5 machine now moving his way up ahead here as Genter into the wall, protection off turn number 2. He's going to need to get off there pretty quickly, get himself squared up, but he does. Definitely not the place he wanted to be at, though. Looks like Jeffrey Ledford here deciding to go with the Hendrick.com style car with the GMAC Financial Services scheme. The logo's on it. But I will say this, is that Ledford usually is supposed to be in the 0-1. Looks like he kind of forgot that he is supposed to be painting that 5 into a 0-1, so I guess he decided just to leave the paint scheme on. In all seriousness, it's basically a custom number scheme that he did not have the way to change the number on. Those custom schemes are awesome looking designs, but at the same time, when you're supposed to be driving a certain number, it can get a little bit tricky sometimes when you want a certain scheme, a certain design, and you don't have the proper ways to get the custom number on there. Speaking of getting a custom number up there, Adam Sprinkle right now is kind of pushing his way right up ahead. Last time out, second place finish for him. Came in today and said, hey, Echo Park was one thing. Now I'm looking to try to finish on a high note and get back to that top spot. Being to get to that top spot here, there's one driver right here we're on board with. This guy has been absolutely booking and fighting and scratching everybody out there. Every single week, every single time out, he's always in that tie 5 bracket. It's not anywhere near that top 10 slice. Closer and closer to getting another win under his belt, just trying to see what he can bring to the table today and try to hope for some luck here. Also, race fans, I do have the YouTube up and running this time, so I can see your comments section this time. So if you do have any comments or have any questions, or feel just root on your favorite drivers or teams, feel free to say in the comments. I do read these out as I go along. Charging their way around right now. Here's we go on board with Johnny Hurst. Johnny qualifying in the 7th spot today, ended up falling down to the 10th place position right now. Maybe just trying to keep some fuel under the reserves, maybe trying not to let up too much off the fuel power here. Continuing, you know, to maintain distance and control as they go 3 wide right off through turn number 1 and 2. See the momentum these things are carrying. Again, they are absolutely wild animals on this track, just hungry for their prey and hungry for the top spots. Top speeds right now well into the 208s. 209 right now is our fastest time. 210 actually just was hit coming off turn number 4. That was Christopher Parker. And the 93 that landed that, he's a little bit in the pack right now, trying to make his way back up front as we're continuing to go 3 wide. You know, kind of surprised, honestly, they're taking it as 3 wide as much as they are right now. Again, this is a bit of a long-form race, long-form strategy. And Adam Sprinkle right now, if he's not careful, he could be on the receiving end of one of those nasty back slashes and back hits there. He's got to be very careful because right now Jeffrey Ledford is the one hoisting and pushing him around. If I'm Ledford right now, I'm thinking get the heck out of Dodge and get away from him. The 21 of Alex Foster ran with him just this last Sunday night. Tough competitor and tough driver, certainly one to watch out for in this one as well. You can get it dialed in on the track, you get it dialed in on the circuit. He certainly will be one to keep your eye on. Doing a great job right now keeping the momentum clear of any issues or trouble here in the CarQuest Kellogg styled up scheme. I think a lot of us old school fans and folks know exactly that scheme. Been represented there by Kyle Busch, Mark Martin, of course, and even some other famed names that have come along the way. I don't know, I guess maybe I always kind of think of Mark Martin, though, whenever I see that scheme out there. I know it's more of a Kyle Busch one, but I always think of Mark Martin whenever I see it. It's this beautiful looking scheme. Speaking of running a pretty good looking scheme right now, not too much in the way of brown nosing, but definitely putting that big brown nose of the Impala Chevrolet of oh no, look out, you got trouble. Oh, the whole leader pack just wrecked in front. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Nearly the entire field was in that wreck. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Adam Sprinkle going haywire and sideways. Next thing you know, the entire field just went into a complete epic proportion of mayhem and destruction in the mix. We got to go to the replay and see who exactly contributed to that. See if we can good look here. Ooh, well, I don't know about you guys, but oh my goodness. I think I'm going to pretty much say pretty clearly I got to go with the 5 on that one, aka the 0-1 of Jeffrey Ledford. That did not look good. Well, we're going to take a closer look at this. Again, we got to get all angles from this. Again, you can't just go off one angle. You got to get everything. Look carefully. We'll come on turn number 4 here. Now, watch the 5 here slash 0-1. Ledford gets right up into the track here. He's got right up on the 77. Here comes the toe tap. Slight tap there. Now crossed over. Ledford's trying to recover. He gets a little bit too close there with the 44, but ends up finding himself on the receiving end. And the next thing you know, the whole field with a violent connection. And I'll tell you this, I have no idea how the heck that 66 here of Chris R. Phillips got out of that one. But here's one more look at it. You can see right up there. There it is. There's the tag. There goes the field. Look at the 66. If that man right now is not literally thanking the racing gods in the heavens above, I don't know what on earth he must have been thinking. How do you get out of that mess and not get into absolute chaos and trouble down there? Oh my goodness. So Ledford, the one that's going to be on the receiving end for that EOL. Man, at this point, the whole field's going to have quite a time getting back in and out of pit road. That may be, if I'm not mistaken, I think that might be one of the biggest collisions and wrecks we've ever seen here on Speed Zone TV. Oh, my word. Sarah Lashbrook says, looked like Ledford got into Sprinkle. Yep, our thoughts exactly. And that was what the result of the EOL will be thrown towards. And it looks like Wanley will car avoid that. I think that might be true, as we just saw with the 66. Field getting themselves squared out of pit road with a quick repair and a quick little workaround. Well, despite Chris Phillips getting out of out of that wreck cleanly, he'll get out of pit road on the 3rd spot. That'll put him 12 spots up. He qualified in 15 today out of a 22 car field. Not bad by any means, but definitely probably not the position he wanted to be in here. So lap number 10 causing a massive ripple into the wreck scene and a massive collision course for everything else that went along there. Field now just getting themselves kind of reoccupied and squared up here. Man, if you are literally anybody that got into that mess and just thought, well, can't get any crazier or worse, man, that's one thing now they got to literally figure out, because again, those instant repairs are going to be very tough to have to put up with and deal with here. As you can see, even now, looks like some fuel going to be taken off the 58 here, as well as Ledford. Again, Ledford already getting the EOL, so at this point, really doesn't even matter for him in this case. The other driver is getting in and out of pit road and quickly trying to hurry back out before the pace car gets to him. Fuel reserves are going to be very limited here, and they're going to be very tough now. They'll have to go back into pit road at least one more time. So Christopher Barker in the Monster Energy DraftKings 93. Gonna be right up ahead there of the other Monster Energy number 69, Brian Lashbrook. Driving the Ultraviolet 69, it looks like tonight. Patrick Ginter and Chris Phillips right now in these next 2 rows back. Now Ginter, again, was running pretty solid there up in that race lead position earlier, racing hard, racing good. Phillips laying low and just kind of trying to stay out of trouble. And honestly, in my opinion, probably played the smartest play out of the field, all things considered. Now has to kind of rekindle and recoup on back. Mike Struminski, probably the most manliest car of the bunch here in that Barbie number 16 Ford Fusion. No, I am not kidding either, folks. You can hunt me down if you like, but I am being dead serious there. Little old tribute scheme there in the 84 Budweiser of Chris Chad Hawkins. Gotta love some of those old school schemes down there. Here they come, down on the front straightaway here to the Precision Gates and Fence restart zone. It'll be Christopher Barker showing them the way and showing them how to play as the green flag flies back on out. All drivers now just trying to gain position, gain some traction. It's going to be really hard to get that outside groove going without some help, as almost everybody goes to the bottom and tries to reel in the leaders. Chris Phillips now going to be up into the 2nd spot, pushing hard on that 93 of Christopher Barker. Backs off, giving himself some room to breathe. With the tape and dispensers on these cars, again, those front noses have got a lot more heat burrowed in and basically keeping it from getting under the pressure of the run here. So you need all the air you can get once you get too close and too hot, because again, If you overheat that engine, it's kaput. It's game over. There's nothing you can do about it. That's why you saw at 66 back off as much as he did. Now, with company on their doorstep, here comes Trubinsky and here comes Genter. Genter hard on the outside lane right now, doing what he can, trying to get some momentum burrowed up as Trubinsky lingers around with him, looking to try and build the momentum. Boy, you can feel the power as they continue to roll him on down into those turns. Again, these things hitting well over 200 miles per hour, and really can't even get aim or so much as getting to touch each other, because again, one wrong touch and it's game over. A little old school Kellogg scheme down there in that number 5, Shane Welding Sr. Man, he's always got some kind of scheme up his sleeve there. He's got some pretty good looks on. Little trouble down there, looks like that for the number 28, Barry Tolson. As he got kind of wrapped around there in the track side, looked like he was trying to get out of a mess there. Looks like they'll pass up by on the number 2, Tim Richardson here. Tim Richardson coming out of pit road. Looked like he was trying to get himself squared up down there, and it doesn't quite unfortunately seem he'll be having a chance to get that lap back unless these guys make a mistake here and give him an opportunity. Up ahead on the race lead. Every driver for himself right now. No one letting off an inch. No one giving anybody a chance here. Again, you can just see how tight and close these things are to one another. But the biggest thing, again, we're looking for is how well they'll be able to kind of keep themselves under the pace, under the pressure, especially when things get a little bit harder to handle. Flip up on the outside lane right now, and now it is do or die time here as they continue to hustle the field up. Barry Tolson. Oh, hold on, Tolson. That's a little too close for comfort. He got it into the back of Nicholas Don Francesco, and you can see just that slight tap was all it took to get that car loose and get it out of squirrely. A squirrely car is about as nuts as a blind squirrel, not able to find that nut. And that 28, again, tagging the 24 ever so slightly, just got him loosened up. But again, Don Francesco, great driving by his side, able to hold on to the race lane and keep himself perilously out of the troublesome zone. And you can see, again, you may be thinking at home, like, well, why are these guys, like, moving around all over the place? Shouldn't these things be more grounded to the track like a next-gen car or literally a Gen 6 in them? Well, you would think, but here's the thing. These cars are much higher off the ground, and they are literally the reminiscent old version of a Gen 4 car. The only real major difference is that the front end is actually sloped up a little higher, where the rear end actually kicks back a bit. So instead of the sloped up downforce that those Gen 4 monsters usually are, this car actually has to deal with the ever-looming presence of that front end lifting up ever so much. And again, when the rear end is the only thing that's on the ground and that front end's off, well, your steering, it comes from your front. It's not a whole lot you can do when things really hit the fan. Coming down the wire, here comes Mike Straminsky here. Big jump to the bottom lane as he gets right up into the lane choice that Straminsky was looking for. Tolson and Don Francesco were trying to get down there quickly. Couldn't quite keep that from happening. Now they'll need some help here as they're coming up quick here on the number 25 of Charles Minter. Charles Minter going to be right in the way of lap traffic here. We'll see if everyone can clear him. He backs off, gets on the outside lane. Smart thinking for the 25 and good sportsmanship from his side. Unfortunately, sportsmanship doesn't quite always give you good karma in advance. It threw him a lap down for that one. But again, as a driver, really, what can you do? Not a whole lot you can really break free from, and not a whole lot you can kind of keep yourself out of trouble with. Ben Parson is number 33, 5 spots up from his qualifying position in the 13th lane. Now just trying to kind of keep himself stable and steady here, as right now Ledford, after having to serve that EOL, now looking to make some big comeback here. Good driving on his part there, pushing the 01/5 down into the lane correctly with the 44 of Mike Presley staying well clear of him. I gotta believe being a leader right now has gotta be the scariest thing in the world. Knowing that you are literally one step, one push, or wrong move will be pinnacle and epitome of disaster. Again, Talladega does not play nice, and these cars, again, they are bad fast and they are tough as nails, as much as these drivers are. But you cannot, no matter how many times you try and think it, outdo the legend of Talladega. Good little wide shot here right now as you see the field starting to scramble and pressurize themselves. Everybody right now just doing what they can, trying to keep stable conditions and stable runs on down through the speedway. Not a whole lot of drivers aiming for that triple side, 3 wide salutes anymore. More or less, I think a lot of them, probably if anything, just want to kind of keep it nice and stable and stay out of trouble here. Pats fan says, glad to see you back in a booth. Yep, thanks, Pats fan. Appreciate you coming on by here and kind of taking over my job for a little while there. Help me out. It's been a while since we have been returning to this booth. Been a while since we've been out here on the track. But it's been a long road of watching the Superspeedway series in action and certainly putting up the fight, putting on the shows. The 84 of Chad Hawkins right now deep on the outside lane trying to bring the pressure in. Stramansky and Don Francesco right now honestly have been pretty well self-tamed and controlled up front. Everybody else, uh-oh, no, that's trouble. I had to say something, I guess. Looks like Chris Ramsey and Chris Phillips getting into it there, down on the front straightaway. But the results cannot lie. We need to look at the replay and figure out the cause and why. Here is your Speed Zone TV Instant Replay tonight, brought to you in part by Ipswich Bay Soap Company. Ooh. Well, from my vantage point, that looks like it's going to fall on the number 66 here. But again, we need to look at it one more time here. Looks like a little bit of chaos up front too there. Looks like a couple of them getting into one another. Not sure exactly what that was all about, but take one last look at it. This looks like this might have been a bit of netcode for my racing. See, look carefully, you see it. Well, he did come up, but here's the thing. There was a good amount of space on that netcode there that unfortunately is not going to make this a crystal clear call. As much as we want to believe it, this honestly, from what I'm looking at right now, it looks like this is going to end up being a netcode situation because there was no contact on the body panels up until literally the 66 was already loose. But what I want to know is what happened what happened ahead of him? Oh. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, that's what happened there on lap number 26 between Ledford and them, but that was not the reason the caution came out. So even though the 66 and the 13 got into it one another, the ruling cannot be completed and fully determined because that netcode is not going to be judged. So no one will receive the penalty for this one. That will be a netcode situation here. A very tough breakdown for the drivers involved, and Ledford right now, if I'm him right now, I'm probably going to keep it under control because he is getting treading more and more towards thin ice with some of these guys, including those up in the booth. We'll see how things handle from there. Pit stops coming in right now. Everybody's trying to get themselves in and out quickly. Out of pit road, it will be Don Francesco who makes it out first. A whole bunch of them right now, just trying to get some damage cleaned up and get some repairs made. And again, this is a good example here. I just wanted to show you, like, look at how the rear end is like brought back down on the track there, and how notice how that front end is sloped up there. That's what I was saying earlier. These things literally have the back plates here, the wheels, almost like digging into the fenders of the rear and shaping the front end up more like a dragster car would be. So that's why in this case, with being up that high in that kind of situation, it makes it much harder to control and much harder to navigate down there. Whoa, 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 whoa! What the? What happened there? The 0-1 there, Jeffrey Ledford. What the heck happened between him and the 21? What is going on down there? Take a look here and see if we can take a look at this one. Alex Foster and him was the one that got into one another here. Let's see if we can figure this out. I can see they're trying to get it in the brakes here, but did Ledford brake too soon, or what happened? All right. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was, wait a minute. That was actually the 5. That was the 5 of Shane Wheeldon Sr. Hold on a second. Let's see, did he hit the brake or did he hit the gas pedal? Let's... Oh. Well... Not really sure how you score that exactly. And Shane's going to have to go to pit road. He's got some damage to fix up after that mechanical hiccup. What? Yikes. Well, I don't even know what to say to that other than I guess maybe a driver error there situation or just lack of focus and didn't realize where the pace car was. I mean, it does happen in racing. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I don't think for one second that was intentional by any means. But from what you see to what you saw, that's a pretty difficult situation to be put into. Sarah Lashbrook saying 6-6 came up there on the original caution there. Sarah, like I kind of mentioned there, I think you kind of heard it too, is basically I felt like there, looking at it, yeah, the 6-6 did come up, but it was not enough to end up getting into the 13 initially. It was literally then a net code that, because you can see if there's space in between, that's what we call net code. So once that happens, really at that point kind of throws everything into a bit of a loop, because again, the call has to be made properly. But if iRacing jumps in and kind of throws us a glitch graphic gremlin, can't really do much about it there. And that will set us back to our restart zone halfway through. Still plenty more to run down with the Ruff-Neck Racing boys. Here they come to the green flag line off the precision fencing gates restart zone. Tim Taylor 8080 says looks like the 5 has no instant repairs down there, so he's going to be out, he thinks. Well, that's a tough break there for that 5 of Shane Wheeldon Sr., but looks like he did bring it back out. Well, I guess we were misjudged and too quick to judge on that. He does have a right front fender, though, that is caved in. Not sure how much of a difference that'll make on him. There's a good look at it there. You can see the fender just kind of caved in a bit. Doesn't look like it's slowing him down all that much, though. The Legacy ARCA car screaming, backing off turn number 4 here, and now with 20 laps left to repeat. Mike Straminsky right now leads the way in the Barbie 16. Nicholas Don Francesco and Christopher Barker out on the trail and narrowing down the lanes. Barry Tolson and Brian Lashbrook also in the mix and in the heat, just trying to see what they can cook up and hoist into this position. 3 wide salute right now. Jeffrey Ledford kind of mixed in there with the 44 of Mike Presley and the 30 of James Wagner. And the 84 of Chad Hawkins now coming up quick in between, up just above Eric Hoppathorne. And that 98. So far, honestly, been a pretty solid performance by everybody involved and kind of keeping themselves one step in contention. Not trying to find themselves in any more of a mess here than they probably want to be. Coming down through the lanes and through the chicanes here. 18 laps left to go. Up on the outside and the middle. Oh! Hold your breaths. Hold your breaths. Hold the breath and hold the phone. Hold that steering wheel like you don't want to let her go. That could have got ugly. Don Francesco getting pushed and caved down. Ended up going below the line. Got it back up and saved it. But I tell you this, getting below that line and having to square it up that quick, let's just say that's no easy feat. That's sheer speed and terror, having to go from a corner banking to literally the bottomest of track bottoms. It's honestly a thought that gives me the heebie-jeebies just even thinking about it. Oh, hold on. We're going 4 wide down the front. Barker went up there, tried to get it right between with Tolson, but Tolson left him no room. Wagner was not giving him anything either. And he went skyrocketing up on the outside lane, trapped in there with the 69 and the 58. Lashbrook and Hurst, I gotta believe, just thinking that that was at least cleared and good to go, but what a move there. Tolson, Straminsky again still hot on the trail and trying to get themselves into the top honors and the top spot. They got a good field of them though right now. kind of caught up in the mix and kind of caught up on the positions here. Spewing through the speeds and spewing through the momentum right now. Again, no one wants to let off on the other, but again, the biggest thing you're seeing out of these cars is that they're getting ever so close to one another, but no one is daring to touch the other or punch each other with their cars. New fast time just set down there by Shane Welding Sr., 222 miles per hour. Hit there going down that back straightaway. Safe to say right now that 5 is not letting up on anything. He's trying to hustle quick. And for the record, the 01 of Jeffrey Ledford is in a 5, but keep in mind that is more of the HendrickCars.com scheme you usually see laying it around. That is what Ledford is in right now. The normal Cheez-Its 5 Kellogg's, that is Shane Welding Sr. So for those that are getting confused at home, which 5 I'm talking about, that's how you can tell. James Wagner right now trying to put the Wagner's Welding Chevrolet into a high honored spot. Warping the field and working through the drive. Trying to hang on, trying to deal with company on his doorstep. Oh no, Commodore right into the field, and there's a problem. We got a nasty wreck coming off the front straightaway. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, nasty situation here. I'm so situating here on lap number 36. Let's go to the replay. See if we can get a good idea. Stravinsky leading it. Tolson getting away from it quickly, but it looks like... Oh boy. Well, take a look, see if we can see exactly if the 01/the 5 here did get too close here. Well, from my vantage point, that looks like that's going to fall on the 01 again of Jeffrey Ledford here. We'll see if he returns out of pit road. Now, he is going to be served with an EOL again. But my question is he going to be able to return out onto the track, though? Just seeing right now if he is going to return back out on the track here. Definitely a nasty situation here. Looks like Ledford going to have a whole lot of damage to fix up on that thing, so we'll go ahead and keep a close eye on him. Now, if he does return to the track, he is going to serve a black flag penalty. That is his second offense of this race. The rule is you get 2 offenses. First one's an EOL, second one's EOL and a black flag. So if Ledford does come back out, he will have to serve a black flag under the green, I don't think he'll be too thrilled with that, but the rules do clearly state it, and I know obviously no one wants to be put in that position, but as a friend of mine once said, the way of the law is the law of racing. Break the law, you break your chances of winning. And I think it might be only the first time we've had a second offender here out on the circuit, which is kind of surprising.
Ruff-Neck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, right now as we have returned from the show here at Ledford. Calling it a day, has put it in the pit road here, did not want to be put into the scrutiny of the black flag hold, and with the damage on his car as well, deciding to call it a night. So that will in fact be the end, unfortunately, of Ledford. A tough break there for him again. Not a whole lot you can do in that kind of situation. Just one of those bad deals, unfortunately, that pops up once in a while. Pats fan says possible, but unlikely to win with the missing fender. Hey, you'd be surprised what Tyler Reddick would have to say about that, my friend. Sarah Lashbrook said, looked like Ledford got into the back of Copperthorne. Indeed, I agree with that statement. So, but in this case, Ledford out of the race here. Tough break there for him and his crew. Obviously, I know he was trying to get another race win at Talladega. Had one 2 weeks ago on a Sunday night edition when we were racing. Just outsmarted the field and got clever with the strategy in the truck series. Today, the Legacy ARCA car not giving him too many breaks. Rolling back around off the front straightaway here to the Itchwitz Bay Soap Company restart zone. Green's back out as Christopher Barker will lead them down. "11 laps left needed to be completed." Missing a good couple of drivers out there right now. Those that stayed around, though, are going to try their best to kind of keep their hopes and dreams alive. Hard shovers and hard comers right now, hard goers. Just trying to get in lane and trying to get on the charge. Christopher Barker and Adam Sprinkle, the two front runners, looking for the race win. Last time out, Tim Richardson getting a well-deserved victory in a long, long season that he had been facing and dealing with everything down there to get to. Finally finding himself into victory lane. Now, Adam Sprinkle wants to go one step ahead to try and take that top honors away this time. Barker, though, really at this point, started in the 18th spot. He's our hard charger award recipient. Just been absolutely nailing this run and nailing this drive that he's been putting on so far. 10 laps to go, about 9 laps left still to be completed here on the circuit. Barry Tollison, Mike Presley, and Eric Copperthorne all in a precarious situation here, just trying to find a lane choice, trying to find an opening or two. up on the outside verb, 3 wide. Strabensky, Foster, and Hurst. Hurst right now trying to keep the draft lane going, trying to get a bit of a draft pack situated. If he can keep the third lane up and keep the side draft up, he might have a shot here to get some speed slowly but surely built up. Someone gets behind him though and gives him a little bit more run, he might have an even better shot to get to the race lead. Question is, will somebody want to follow him? It's a tough deal to be the one in the back. Johnny Hurst though, looks like he might have something up there. Drivers right now coming and going quickly. But all right now in the bottom lane seem to be glued to that lane. But wrong slip up or a bad push, and you're asking for it. Ben Parson right now backing off, trying to get out of that mess. Tolson right in the lane choice and trying to clear him. Hurst right now looking pretty good. Might have a shot here. He's trying to get a direct lane. He's got some company on the back doorstep. There's 84. Chad Hawkins slamming up into the wall protection, gets right out of it and backs away. Right front fender completely totaled on that, but is able to at least stay out of trouble and not get into other drivers. Good driving on his part. Man, these Ruff-Neck guys absolutely cooking it down there. 8 laps now, repeating down to 7 to go. No one wants to make that mistake, and nobody wants to make that critical error here. Genter right now having all that room there on the bottom, now going back to the top. Sees maybe we can kind of find a lane choice, find a bit of a drive of a loophole. None of them, though, want to let off. Hurst going to join him. Maybe gives the 6 a chance here. We're going to come on about 6 laps to go this go around. Adam Sprinkle getting closer and closer to possible trouble. Needs to stay focused and needs to try to hold that lane down. This car, again, so difficult to deal with. The Master. Oh, we're going 4 wide right on that front straightaway. Johnny Hurst, Patrick Genter, and all them making their charge and their way through. How on earth they did not end up finding themselves in the shadow realm is my best guess. But they cleared it, got through it just fine. Adam Sprinkle now joining the outside lane. Perhaps he feels he gets a little bit more momentum and a little bit better of a push up there. Barry Tolson and Chris Ramsey now going to tag team up. One must push the other must be the front runner. No one, and I mean no one, letting off that exit zone, off those runs. It's either get in line or get out of the way, and huge push there. Tandem draft and tandem momentum coming from Sprinkle and Hurst. You saw that big run there coming down as the sun starts to fade into the clouds. That will make things a little bit easier for the drivers to see, but that could cool down the track a bit. If the track cools down too much, it will get extremely slippery down there because there's no heat to get off to those rubbers. No heat, no rubber, no nothing. You ain't got no grip. That's the last thing you want to hear the driver. Barker, Tolson, and Sprinkle. The 3-man drivers setting the front rows of their individual groups. One on the middle, one on the top, one on the bottom. Trying to hustle down, trying to get some more momentum kicked up around on that lane choice. Can't quite find it. Barker now. Looks like he's going to continue to keep Parson at bay. Maybe hope for another good push. If they can get it to the white flag, it's going to be all or nothing for a lot of these guys. My question is, will anyone be able to avoid the big one if it strikes? Tolson, Ramsey, Sprinkle, still in it. They're looking for any lane, but right now it's almost a gridlock. stuck on that front straightaway there as they continue to hustle and push their way in. Oh my word, I don't even know what any of these guys must be thinking or feeling right now, let alone just inquiring about. Spotters just yelling in their ears, down here, down low, up high, up low. Keep it nice and steady. See where she goes. Race teams right now also working hard with their three-man groups, trying to keep these teams in lane. Bite your tongue and hope for the best right now. Here we go. 2 laps remain on the green. The green flag flies high in the air here. We've got 2 more to go in the Wagoner's Welding Superspeedway Series. Can they maintain control? Or is calamity going to ensue? They're getting pretty close to it. They don't want to give an inch to the other. They don't want to let the other just bite them in the butt here. They want to keep it nice and stuck to the ground. Don't nip yourselves now, boys. You've got only a half a track length to go to get to the white and finish this one like you should. Hang on, boys. Hang on. Sprinkle trapped up there with Johnny Hurst. Trying to cave it back down. Square it up, square it up. There we go. All right. Precision Fencing Gates going to take us to our white flag lap. Now is the time to make your moves or make your last minute dashes. Barker thinks he might have the edge. Tolson, Sprinkle, charging quick, firing all cylinders. Look for the outside lane to get one more groove up there. They're looking for it. The 21 there of Alex Foster was hoping for it. It's the bottom lane that got the gap. Larson found his opening. He trapped Parker, and the trouble ensued behind him. Barker now trapped in the middle of the mix. Parson, Tolson, and Sprinkle. One of these 3 might take this one to victory lane. They're coming down to the wire. Copperthorne, we're looking for a big opening. Presley, he's pushing and shoving. Here they come to the finish line, and it's gonna be Adam Sprinkle to the line. He got him by a mere 11 hundredths to the second. 15 hundredths over Barker and 6 hundredths of a second over Johnny Hurst. Adam Sprinkle will hold down the charge to get it to victory lane. Whoo, boy. These last minute dashes and charges, man. I don't know how some of these guys can do it. Second place last week. This week, top dog takes top honors, and as James Wagner's Welding 77. Oh, I wonder what that 77 must be feeling right about now. They'll park it down here. Christopher Barker and Johnny Hurst going third and second respectfully. Barker, I don't know how the heck he ended up getting out of that mess the way he did, but man, did he sure catch a break there when he did. Final results up on your screen, race fans. Adam Sprinkle taking this one home. Second's going to go to Johnny Hurst. Third to Christopher Barker. Fourth to Barry Tolson. Fifth to Mike Straminsky. Sixth to Ben Parson. Dick goes John Francesco going seventh. Chris Ramsey going to go eighth. Ninth's going to go to Eric Copperthorne. And Mike Presley will finish it in the top 10. That is your finishers in your lineup tonight. And what a show it was from point A to point B. Well, we'll go ahead and chit-chat up with our drivers right now here, race fans. Joining me now on the first part here. This is your third place finisher, the number 93 of Christopher Barker. And Christopher, congratulations getting on home for a third place finish. I mean, all around, you had a long, long road to have to deal with and have to fight off just to get to this point. But in the end, you managed to scourge your way into that third place position. Talk me through this one.
A whole lot of luck, man. That's all I can say. These super speedway races, I can usually qualify pretty decent. I get a lot of poles at these places. I messed up in qualifying. I was talking to my wife, not paying attention. I didn't burn a lap up high. I went down. So I was just, I was way down when we gridded. But I say a lot on these things. I'd rather be lucky than good. And usually I get caught up in every wreck. And I think I had 3 incident points there at the end, man. It was super lucky race.
Super lucky race, and definitely luck something you need to have at these super speedways, whether it be
Oh
Talladega,
yeah.
Daytona, and the Echo Park these days. But I mean, Barker, all around, I mean, you had a pretty fast machine piece today. You were leading up there for a good long while. I mean, what was it like having to deal with the traffic and having to just kind of keep yourself under control before things got hairy there?
Yeah, I was just trying to be smart, hold a good steady line when I was getting pushed and be a good pusher. I got to apologize to Doug Wagner there. I wasn't getting the push I wanted in the middle, and I decided to go up high to kind of help them out, and I went up too early, and I was going to slow them down, so then I went back down and pushed us 4 wide, and I think that hurt their run, but that's just super speedway racing. Like I say, it takes a whole lot of luck. I think every one of my teammates but one ended up out of the race, so it was just my night tonight.
Certainly was indeed. So, with that said, Barker, who are we thanking here for this third place finish?
I got to thank my teammates, man. One of them couldn't make it. Shout out to Steven. He had to work tonight. I wish he could have made it, man. He's good at these. And these cars are a whole lot of fun, man. This is the first time I've ever driven one of these. Got to thank Ruff-Neck Racing, James Wagner, you for doing the broadcast. Y'all are doing an awesome job. Got to thank the wife, man, for letting me play this game so much. I guess that's pretty much it, man.
For sure there. All right. Well, Barker, hey, man, congratulations taking it on down for a third place finish tonight.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, give it up for the third place finisher tonight, the 93, Christopher Barker. We are now joined here with our second place finisher here tonight. He is in the 58. That was Johnny Hurst. And Johnny, man, oh man, oh man, you somehow avoided the chaos and calamity that was that final lap. I mean, what the heck were you even thinking when you were coming down that high side and then going back into that bottom lane when you got to it?
Oh, well, I wasn't sure. It was one of those where your butt puckers a little bit. Just you just kind of hope you don't get hit. So it was pretty wild. I did get collected early on. Um, had to use my fast repair, so most of the race I was just kind of in defensive mode there till the last 10. So and it was pretty much just do what you can do. So
Do what you could do, kind of keep yourself under control and in steady position. Johnny, I mean, all around tonight, obviously you had to go through a couple of wrecks. You had to kind of get out of some messes. You ended up late in the middle of that race. You ended up having to go up more towards kind of getting into the fresh air in that third lane. Nobody was really following you there until probably maybe like last 6 to 5 laps is when all of a sudden things changed. Was that kind of the changing point for you and your team to finally get into this second spot today?
well, yeah. See that I like this car because somebody can do that if you can go out in that third lane if you're still hugging the bottom two lanes, you can still get just enough air. I mean, I went a long distance by myself right there. I think I probably could have got in front of that second lane, but Adam see me coming, and of course, we're going to work together, so he kind of moved up. And I'm not sure who that was that finally got in behind us, but when us three, it was Patrick. I think it was Patrick anyway. Us three
I
was able
believe
to
so, yeah.
maintain. Yeah, yeah. I mean, three cars. Yeah, you can make it work with two inside lanes like that, but it's just this car. You know, that's why I like this car so much. You can just do so much by yourself with it. So it's kind of forgiving.
And forgiving it was for you to be able to come away here in second place tonight. Who are we thinking tonight, Johnny?
Well, we're thinking Wagner's Welding. Uh, Shout out to Precision Fence and Gates and Ipswich Bay. They've come on board to sponsor us this season, and look forward to many seasons with them. Like to thank all the drivers here at Ruff-Neck, and shout out to Tim. He's the heart and soul of us. He does a lot for this league. So like to thank all them guys.
For sure there. Well, hey, Johnny, man, congratulations getting yourself on home to second place tonight. Great to hear from you again, sir.
All right, thank you, bud.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the number 58, second place finisher tonight, Johnny Hurst. And now, race fans, it's time to join with the driver that last week was the bridesmaid. This time, he finds himself on the top of the maiden fountain. Adam, congratulations getting this one on home to victory lane, buddy. I mean, what a performance and what a drive you had there. Avoided the trouble, kept yourself out of the wrecks, and for the most part, just kind of stabilized this thing down. I mean, that last bit there just looked absolutely phenomenal. I mean, how were you even able to accomplish that?
The last little bit, I have to give the thanks to Johnny on that. When he was behind me and he was coaching me the whole time, he definitely helped me drive to that win right there. If it wasn't for him, it might not have come out the same way there. I had a great teammate pushing me. Hate it for Timmy today. He got caught up and had to pit and got caught a couple laps down there, so he wasn't up there, with us. But hopefully next time we can get the three of us together up there. But got caught up a little bit early. And that first one had to burn the fast repair. Got caught in the second one. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, but the car actually had wheel damage the whole end of the race there, but it still drove good enough to go win the race. So I'm tickled with it, and just once again, thanks to Johnny, because he definitely helped me get that one.
For sure, there, Adam. I mean, you said you had teammates all around kind of help you tonight, and really, that certainly is one of the things that kind of keep you into victory lane. But I mean, for you and your team, I mean, last two races, you kind of proved that you're willing to take chances and make that run for it. Did all this kind of pay off from help from kind of learning from last week there?
Well, Talladega's quite a bit different than, of course, Atlanta. These cars are a ton different than what we drove last week. These were a little more dancing around, especially going in the corner. Is sometimes they'd kind of get a little tight and they'd get a little loose. It was just little. You could feel the bounce in these a little bit more, so made them a little more difficult to drive. And I just tried to be patient there after I got caught up in those wrecks. And once I finally decided, like I think we was about close to 20 to go, and I kind of wanted to start gaining some track position in case another caution come out. I'd be a little closer to the front and not have to battle. And I seen we were too wide up front there for a long time, and I seen Johnny trying to make a third lane, and we were, of course, talking on the radio, and I was trying to give him just a little bit of air to help that run, and finally it paid off, and I just jumped to the top and let him have the middle, because I'd rather have a teammate behind me than trying to control the middle without knowing what's behind me. So super speedway racing definitely comes down to having good teammates and working together well. And like I said, I got two of the best in the league with me. So when I do get to make it out, we certainly gonna put on a show if we can.
And certainly put on a show you did indeed here. Adam, I gotta say, buddy, you pulled this one off at a high demand and definitely got yourself into victory lane. Well earned there. Who are we thanking for this one today?
As always, James Wagner's Welding. He sponsors the league, everything he does for us over here. Precision Fence and Gates, they're sponsoring now too. Appreciate them coming on board. Thanks to, of course, my teammates, Johnny and Timmy. We put in the practice before the race and had a plan coming in, and it didn't completely work out the way we wanted to, but always thanks to them, and thanks to Ruff-Neck Racing and the admins. Timmy puts a lot of work into it, and just appreciate everything he does week in and week out. And thanks, of course, Speed Zone for putting on the broadcast and letting everybody watch.
You're sure there, Adam, man. Congratulations getting to victory lane today, buddy. Well earned, deserved. Nicely done, sir.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your race winner tonight, Adam Sprinkle in the 77. And with that, race fans, another one in the books, another one completed here on the show. Race fans, thanks so much for tuning on in as well. Be sure to like and follow us up and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below anything you would love to see more of as we will begin our journey into the next race. We do have coming up as well on Sunday nights a new league, new series to show you. We certainly cannot wait to show you guys, but until then, we hope you've enjoyed this call, and we'll see you next time when the green flag flies right here on Speed Zone TV.